is your first class? Have you been here before or this is your first class? That's what I mean. No, this was. This is your second class. Ah, okay, fine. So that means you're familiar, right? Okay, all right. We didn't have a class last week because there was no one here. I assume there was something else that was going on, so people haven't made it to this one. So we did not conduct this class. So this means we're going to pick up from where we stopped in the class before that, right? So I think just give me a moment. I'll share the screen with you. Start. Um, if I am not wrong, I think we've been discussing on the subject line, right? That is what we were looking at. I think this is the last question that we might have. Uh, right? This is something I think we have been discussing. We will be done with this question. So I mean to say this, the discussion on composing a subject line is what we will stop. The session that was held last is not last, the last week, the week before that, right? So we're going to move on to the next part. I'm going to just show you, just quickly show you what we are discussing. This is just to tell you where we have reached up to now, right? So we are discussing email writing. Subject line is done. Greetings and salutations we discovered. We've already talked about them. This has been discussed. And today what we're going to do is we're going to do the body of the email, right? So when I say body of the email, uh, the part from point number 3, that is purpose, till the sixth one, which is complimentary clause, is considered to be part of the body of the email. Some people might want to include the other two, but then signature and attachment, since attachment is not something that you find in all the emails, it's only done when necessary. Signature also, there's nothing to compose in it. But as far as the writing and composition part is concerned, body of the email begins at point number 3, that is purpose, and the fourth one, details. Fifth one, closing remarks. And sixth one, the complimentary close. We'll look at each of them and see what they mean and how they look like in a formal email and what are the conventions that you must follow to write each of them. So just keep in mind, purpose, details, closing remarks, complimentary close. All the four are part of the actual body of the email, right? Moving on. What do we mean by the body of the email? The body of the email is basically the purpose statement, right? Like you see here, the third point, right? Purpose detail is the purpose statement is the main part and the crux of what you call as the body of the email. Hence, in any formal email, the first sentence of the body of the email, and when I say body of the email, it is the actual email. I am referring to the email. Any formal email, the very first sentence in your email, formal email, is going to be the purpose statement, right? So in a sense, you can say that then when I say body of the email, I also mean the purpose statement. They are one and the same, right? Rest of them, which includes the detail, point number 4, and point number 5, closing remarks, and point number 6, complimentary close. These are basically certain, they sit in the body of the email to fulfill certain writing conventions, right? But the main part of the body is definitely the purpose, right? That's what it means. So in other sense, like I mentioned, you could say body of the email is very much like the purpose statement or vice versa, right? Now, what is this? What do we mean by purpose statement? What constitutes a purpose statement? How to write a purpose statement? This is what we're going to discuss. So look at what is there on screen for you. It is next in line after the salutation, which means, like I mentioned, this is the first sentence that you would write in the email, in a formal email. And repeating on this particular part, the formal email. We are discussing formal emails here, right? Emails could be either formal, semi-formal, or informal. The purpose of our tutorials is to look at how a formal mail is constructed, right? Okay. So the purpose statement is next in line after the salutation. Once you're done with the salutation, the first sentence that you see, the actual sentence of your email is going to be the purpose statement, right? Um, it coincides with the beginning of the email, of course, right? The word choice. Now, this is important, right? This is on how you write a purpose statement. When you're writing a purpose statement, what is it that you should take care? What are the things or what are the pointers that you must follow in order to write a good purpose statement? The first point is word choice, right? How should the word choice be? The word choice should be accurate, adequately and concisely, something that adequately and concisely convey the intent of the email, right? What is word choice? Do you have any idea on what do you mean by word choice? You can talk or you can type in the chat. What does word choice mean? So forget about the accurately, adequately, concisely parts, right? That's so anyway we know because anything that is written professionally will have to be accurate and this has to be adequate, or in other words, specific and concise, right? What does this word choice mean here? What do you mean by word choice? Any idea? Right, so word choice is an umbrella term. It has several things that it covers. There are many things that comes under the term word choice. Word choice in writing basically refers to the choice of language, and particularly when I say language, I am referring to words and phrases that are used to construct a sentence or a paragraph, how I put together a sentence or a paragraph based on the relevance of the word or phrase, based on the adequateness of the phrase or word, based on the appropriateness by which I mean the suitability of the word or the phrase chosen in connection with the topic in question, right? All of these falls within the realms of word choice. So relevance, appropriateness, right? Accuracy, conciseness, all of them fall within the domain of word choice, right? As far as the discussion on word choice is concerned, right? Any question on what word choice is? We'll look at it in a little detail later, right? We'll see a few examples through emails, right? I'll show you certain emails and ask you to judge the appropriateness of the word choices. But at the surface level, do you understand what word choice is? Any questions on that? It's basically a language component, right? When I say word choice, my direct reference is to the kind of language, kind of use of language that is permitted while drafting or constructing an email, right? So the words you choose must be relevant to the topic that you have chosen to write an email on, right? Word choice also includes word count, right? How many words should I write in this particular mail in order to convey my message across? So count, relevance, suitability, appropriateness, all of this becomes a part of word choice. Okay. Use of jargons. Okay, should I use a technical word here or should I not use? Should I be using some kind of ornate expressions, usage of cliched languages, right? All of this is a part of word choice. I'll try and see if I can show you examples of what each of it is. I do have a component on that, but before I show you what word choice is, I just want to finish off with this structure pre-unit, right? Because we've been looking at it for a while. So it would be nice if we can finish it up, right? So uh, I think more or less you understand what word choice is. Right? Any confusion as of now? Something that is not understood on word choice? I'll certainly, I promise you, I'll show you examples of what this means. But have you understood at least the definitional thing? How does email got into spamming? What does that mean? Are you asking me a question or are you giving me the answer? This one. No, you're asking, but your question is not clear. I did not understand. How does email got into spam? Okay, redraft the question. We'll look at it in a while once you're done with it. So shall I continue with this? I hope you've understood what word choice is. You will get better clarity on this when I show you examples. Okay. So, right. So the purpose statement has to be very mindful of the choice of words or word choice, right? Uh, why is it important? Because unless you take care of the word choice, you won't be able to write something that fulfills the requirement of a professional writer, which is something that is accurate, something that is adequate or specific, and something that is concise. Unless you pay a good amount of attention to how and what the methods of how you're choosing your word, nothing of the other that's a part of professional writing would be fulfilled. Right? It is why it is important. Now, it could be the only statement in the email in semi-formal and informal emails. Right? Now, look at this. Uh, it is in a formal email that you're going to see the purpose statement followed by details, closing remarks, complimentary close. Right? So, formal emails, all of them by default will have at least four of these, right? Which includes purpose statement, of course, followed by the details related to it, the closing remarks, right? They're all sentences. Complimentary clause, of course, is not a sentence. It's something that you sign off your email with. But in a formal email, you will certainly have point number 4 and 5 along with the purpose statement. Compulsory, that it's mandatory, you have to use. But in a semi-formal or an informal email, you can wind up your email just with the purpose statement, right? So no courtesies, no pleasantries, nothing required, just the purpose statement and your email is considered done. But in the case of a formal email, you will have to follow up the purpose statement. You will have to add to your purpose statement two more things necessarily, which are the details and also the closing remarks. Okay. What would the details be? Right? We're going to look at that in a while. But before that, what are the kinds of purpose statements that you can have in a formal email, right? What are the kinds of purpose statements? Any comment on that? It will depend on your email, of course. If it's a request email, then of course your purpose statement is going to be around the request, right? If it is, say, a thank you email, right, then it's going to be around the uh, around that part. If it's an inquiry email, then it is going to be around that inquiry related thing, right? So purpose statement basically depends on what exactly the email is being written, right? It also additionally with all these things, it also additionally defines the uh, level of formality and the intended audience, right? So all of this is packed together in the purpose statement. It has multiple purposes. It is not just, its work is not just to declare the purpose to the reader. In addition to declaring the purpose, it also tells you what is the level of formality of that email, right? So like we saw in the previous case, if it is just a semi-formal or informal email, then probably only the purpose statement would be there, right? But if there's more to the purpose statement, then of course we know it's a formal email. At least that is the uh, interpretation we can have from that, right? It also tells you what the intended audience is, right? And it also tells you what the outcomes are, okay? Um, it also sets the tone, right? It tells you, like I was mentioning, the purpose statement also tells you whether the email is written as a request, whether it is written as a complaint, whether it is written to express gratitude, that is, whether if it is a thank you email, or if it is simply done to show urgency of an email. So whatever the purpose is, right, whether urgency, request, complaint, or gratitude, the purpose statement is what tells you what the email is written for. Okay, so this is the purpose of the purpose statement. Now, there are on your screen are examples of uh, you know certain useful phrases that you can use to compose a purpose statement. Okay. Now, because in formal emails, purpose statements are usually used to begin the email. Most of these phrases are found in the beginning of the formal emails, right? So you can go through it. On your left-hand side column, you have the purpose, and on the right-hand side, you have the phrases, right? That can be used to express the given purpose. First one here, making reference, right? So, for example, you are writing an email. Uh, if it's part of a thread, right? You've already sent an email to this person and you're writing this particular email as a response to that, and you want to quote the other mail as a reference to it, then you use this particular phrase with reference to your letter of or with reference to your email of. After of, usually the date comes, right? Whichever date you have given for your previous email or your letter, you can use that after of the date comes. But you can begin the email with reference to your letter of or with reference to your mail. If it is an email which is written to give reason to something, right, to indicate the purpose, then the phrase begins with I am writing to. Okay, I am writing to express my sincere gratitude. I am writing to inform you about, uh, so on and so forth. Whatever the purpose of the writing is, you can begin the statement with. So you can begin the purpose statement with I am writing to. Third example, when you want to give good news to someone, right? When you want to uh, convey a pleasant news to somebody, you can begin the email with I or we, depending on whoever is writing. I am pleased to inform, or we are pleased to inform. Right? Sometimes business firms and business organizations, when they want to announce a promotional offer to you, right? They use these kind of purpose statements or beginner statements to address their audience. Right? Fourth one, of course, it is the one is for bad news, right? Giving bad news to the intended audience. I regret to inform you that, or we regret to inform you that, right? These are all set phrases. We call them set phrases because in formal emails, most of the times we use these set phrases to indicate our purposes. This is also safe because uh, if you use these set phrases, then the chances of you writing something that is inappropriate or wrong is reduced a lot, right? So that's why these are considered as the set phrases, right? So a set phrase to give a bad news would be, I regret to inform you that, or we regret to inform you that. Set phrase to convey a good news would be, I am pleased to inform you that, or we are pleased to inform you. Then making a request, set phrase would be, I would be grateful if you could, or we would be grateful if you could. Okay. Similarly, to offer assistance, the set phrase could be, if you require any further information, please do not hesitate to contact us. Right. There are other options for this. I'll show you that in a while. Enclosing, if you're keeping an enclosure or attachment or anything in your email, then the set phrase usually uses, I have enclosed with this email, or I enclose with this email, right? Reference to future contact, that's the last one. Uh, the set phrase usually uses, I look forward to receiving a reply. For this statement also, there are multiple variations. I'll show you a list of that also in a while. Okay. Okay. Any question? It's just one of you here. The others, I think, have left now. Uh, can you hear me properly? Are you around? Yes, no? Yeah, Chandragupta, are you around? See, if you are unable to speak, you can at least type on the chat so that I know that there's somebody listening. Are you around?